Hello humans of the internet, it is Enobasi and I am here with the very first video of 2021. And what other way to start off the year than to start it off with a video that is going to be talking about periods and menstruation more normal in today's society. Stick around because you might enjoy it, you will learn, and you probably will be convinced to change from whatever it is that you're using and try another brand out in an attempt to find what is the very best fit for you. So I was going to lie and say a requested video, but this is totally my own doing. So a while back, I was an Always baby. I would not use anything beyond Always, the Always brand, Always Ultra, whether it's the blue one, the pink one, night or day. I would swear by it. And because that was all I had ever known, I didn't really pay much attention to anything else. I was also one of those people who would endure and manage side effects that using Always would bring. I used to have like a rash and it would be itchy, it would be uncomfortable. When I would sit down with my pad, it's almost as though I sat on a wet rag and would leave a thin layer of blood on my skin. I always felt damp. As I got older and got access to the internet, social media, I saw when women began to speak up about Always and how they were having reactions and the side effects that they were having, and people started recommending a host of different brands. I still did not put away from Always because I wasn't buying my sanitary towels myself. My mom was the one who used to purchase them for me. I think it was up until a few years ago my mom came back with a pack of Vironi, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and was just like, you know what, try it. And I did, and I ended up liking it so much so that I made a permanent switch from Always. However, this year I'm thinking I was just jumping away from one thing to another thing and didn't do proper research. Now I am coming to you with a review of 4 different menstrual pad products. These are the 4 brands I am going to be reviewing. We have Dry Love, Always, Vironi, and Moped. So these 4 are the pads that I used, and I will be giving you honest feedback as to what the experience was like. I asked sometime last year on my Instagram if my audience would be interested in listening to me talk about the different brands, because I had been using Vironi for quite a while and then I couldn't find it in the market in Abuja, and that was very hard for me because I had gotten used to this brand. Fast forward to sometime in December, I had run out of Always and I quickly walked down to the shop that was beside my house, and they didn't have Always, they didn't have Vironi, they only had Moped and they had Dry Love. So I was like, you know what, this might be a good time to try other brands. And when I bought it, I came back home and I was sharing, and then I thought of it. It would actually make a whole lot of sense to compare the menstrual pads that we have in Nigeria and not just depend on reviews about pads we most likely will not have access to. And this video has come about. Before I go into what I have to share, I will be answering some of the questions that were asked. I have them written down here and I have some of my notes as well. So the very first and most common question was asking about the thickness, to compare the thickness of all pads, which is what we are going to do now. If I'm going to go from the thickest to the thinnest, I would rate it as Moped being the thickest, followed by Dry Love, followed by Vironi, and then Always. We are going to open them up so that you also have an idea as to what the inside looks like. So this is what moped looks like. It has this cottony feel. It feels like, you know, those little bags that they put into brand new bags and brand new clothes that normally have those balls that are supposed to suck out moisture and prevent moisture or damp from collecting in leather bags. The way the fabric that is used to hold those beads feel is exactly how the fabric of this pad feels. And honestly, looking at it, initially I wasn't impressed, because I was like, this doesn't feel like it is going to allow liquid to pass through. It doesn't feel like something that is absorbent. It literally is the type of material that if you poured something on it, it would run off before sitting to be absorbed. Whereas with Dry Love, I don't know if you can see it, it has these tiny beads. It has like tiny holes and has a more synthetic feel to it, so it doesn't feel like authentic cotton or natural fibers. It feels like synthetic fiber that was used and woven and then lined with some cotton and some absorbent material. Then you have Vironi. Vironi kind of feels like paper towels, kitchen towels, the way you have kitchen towels. That's texture, that is exactly how it feels. And the holes on it are not as large as the ones on Dry Love, but they are also kind of visible. I hope you can see it. Yeah. And last but not least, always, this is what always looks like. So definitely synthetic, super thin, doesn't feel like it has a lot of layers of cotton. It just has some material that is inside. The absorbent material starts from right here and ends here, so it is not the full length of the pad, and you can feel that that is where the absorbent material has been placed. So this is always for nighttime. This is Hello humans, and I am back again. So you saw what happened. Electricity went out. One of the hassles that comes with filming in Nigeria. You might have everything planned, you'd be ready, you're good to go, you actually are in the mood, you start off your video, and then boom, light is gone and there's nothing you can do about it. Like I was saying, this is always for nighttime. This is the Vironi regular / I think normal flow. Dry Love, I can't remember which one it was. And Moped was for their daytime. The reason why I went with nighttime for always is because over the years the pink one really doesn't do a lot. I had always preferred the blue one, especially when you want to be moving around and you do not want to have to constantly check and have incidents where getting stained. Because I don't know about you, but I do not enjoy the process of having to wash out blood from jeans. As you see, they are almost all the same length, but the Moped is the shortest. Vironi and every other one else is pretty much the same length, just that always has this little flap here. From everything that I have seen, I would actually say the ones that kind of held up pretty well when I wasn't able to switch out of my pad and change into a new one were, guess, I'm sure you didn't get it right, Dry Love and Virani. Funny enough, I was in these for almost 8 hours and I did not have any staining either on the underwear I was wearing. However, Moped stained pretty easily and always started having the blood stain from the wings and then into the sides of my crotch, and it was not comfortable. Not one bit. So I would say for someone with light to medium flow, the best ones so far were Dry Love and Virani. I mean, even listening to the last question, you kind of would get an idea. It would have to be a tie between Dry Love and Virani, followed by Always, and last was Moped. Moped didn't do a good job, which is kind of disappointing because I see a lot of promotion going on at the moment for Moped. But I literally tried Moped on regular period panties. I tried them on the almost bikini kind of panties, and I tried them on a thong as well, and didn't do a good job irrespective of whichever sort of underwear I was wearing. Whereas the other ones, for like Always, seem to do better off with using a thong as opposed to using like regular panties, and Dry Love seem to do better with panties that have like slimmer crotch areas, whereas Virani was just like, anyone you put me, I'm gonna help you out. Like, I don't care, I don't mind whichever pants you put me, I will do my job. That's what I'm here for, and I'm going to make sure I do the very best to make sure you are fully satisfied at the end of the day. And someone made a statement saying that she normally noticed that her Always pads are like perfumed, so she was wondering if the other ones had the same sort of character. So Always is lightly scented. For me, it has this smell you have when you unwrap something for the very first time, this brand new, very clean, almost plastic smell, like that tear rubber kind of smell. That is Always scent. Moped doesn't smell like anything. It is bare, odorless, scentless kind of situation going on. Dry Love has a mildly synthetic, ignore the noise in the background. So like I was saying, Dry Love has a slightly synthetic smell. I think it's because of the type of things that they used. And Virani has an almost talcum powdery smell. I don't know how else to explain it, but that's the best way I could think of it. Those are the questions that kept on recurring up on my Instagram stories. Follow me on Instagram, humans. And now I will be going into my own notes. I am going to be talking about the cons of each and every one, and then ease into the pros. Rip off the band-aid. So for Moped, I noticed that when it was time to change my pad and use a new one, the cotton would have kind of shifted and bunched up into one corner or just scrunched up in the middle. So that would then mean like blood would just be in the sides of the pad and not actually absorbed, so much so that by the time I'm folding it up to wrap it up to discard, the blood would spill out. Another thing that I kind of noticed is I would feel, you see this, the wings in the middle. It's almost as though when they were applying the adhesive, whoever was doing it didn't pay a lot of attention. So every now and then there would be adhesive on the surface of the pad itself. And for people who are not exactly completely bare in the pubic area, would mean that sometimes little hairs will get trapped on the adhesive. So when you're now taking off your underwear or moving around, you'd feel some tugging, or you feel like a sharp pinch from when the hair moves against the adhesive, and it will jolt you back into consciousness like, oh my goodness, what was that? And it's not very comfortable. So except you're fully bare, I'm sure you'd have no issues. However, if you are not fully bare, you know what I'm talking about, you'd you probably encounter something like that going on. The cons for always. Disclaimer, I really am not here to come on to bash always. I know some people who swear by always, never had any side effects, love it, and will probably use it till the day they experience like menopause. However, it wasn't the case for me, and I know it's not the case for other women, so I am speaking based on my own personal experience, and hopefully over the next few years they improve on the quality that is produced. I don't know whether it's only me that keeps on having bad luck. Until then, I will share my opinion. So for me, my issue is always was I always felt damp whenever I used it, so I would put it on and I would sit, and if I got up and took off my underwear and I used like a cloth or something to just wipe against my skin, there would almost always be blood, coming off on the cloth. Pun not intended. But yeah, it didn't make any sense for a brand that claims they are super absorbent to have issues of compression bringing out blood. And it was shocking because I remember all the adverts that they would do when they kept on making like all these always adverts, no check, where they would pour on the blue solvent, that they would use something to press on it and there would be no staining. I'm like, how far? I get stained, like it happens to me. So what's happening? What are you advertising? It didn't make any sense. Another issue I had was sometimes like the blood would go into the wings, and since the wings are what are holding onto my underwear, literally that would mean blood on the sides of my crotch. I already spoke about this. Oh my goodness, the tag in my shirt keeps on pricking me. So it would constantly spill into the sides, and the sides of my underwear would then pick up that blood, and that means my underwear would stained. If I was wearing a pair of trousers or leggings that are all up in my crotch, blood would also appear on that. And at the end of the day, ask yourself, like, why are you stressing me? I remember one time where, to avoid that, I used to layer up my always. So I would have always on my pants, and then I would have comfort or comfit, those wingless pads that they normally recommend to women who just gave birth, to like put it in. So I would put it in so it will catch up all the little bloods that want to escape into the sides and everything. However, I mean, that's expensive. If you calculate how much money is being spent every month times 12 in a year, that's money that could have gone into something else. Like you could have used this to buy yourself skincare or makeup, or even taking yourself out on a short date. I'm not happy, I'm not pleased that you can see it. It's not impressive at all. So another thing I also experienced with always is I would sometimes have a rash, and I guess it's because of the light perfume, because I personally noticed that sometimes certain kinds of perfumes irritate my skin. So I am already taking that sort of perfumed thing, putting it directly against my vulva, and there is damp, and it is just rubbing up, and at the end of the day I have a rash. It's not comfortable. Dry love. The con that I had written down was sometimes the pad would shift. Like you would stick it on, and you would then notice that you pull down your underwear. Your pad was this way before. You pull down your underwear and it's like this, or it's like this, or it has bunched up in a weird way, and you're just like, how much work is going on down there that you need to readjust your position? Like, what are you trying to do? Are you saying, ooh, blood, catch it, ooh, blood, catch it, kind of? You're really good absorbency wise, so why are you not good enough adhesive wise? Maybe if by any chance one of their staff CEO or anybody on their team is watching this, they could help me answer it, and I'll be willing to share more. I'll be willing to share more of my experience using their products with them, and that goes as well for any of the other brands. And finally, Vironi. For some reason with Vironi, when I stick it onto my underwear, especially if it is like pure cotton, when it's time to take it off, I always have issues pulling it off cleanly, because it is like some areas of the adhesive will be like, no, we don't want to go, we want to stay stuck to this underwear, and you would now, add a little vim when you're pulling, and that place would literally detach and stay stuck to your underwear. And I'm confused. I'm like, why? Do you have attachment issues? You need to learn how to let go, my dear. You've done a perfect job, you've done your work, but it's time for you to let go. So I also noticed that when it's time to like wash said underwear, or I would run that part under water, put soap on the back of the underwear to kind of loosen it up, but the adhesive would still refuse to let go. So there would always be that little piece of the back of the pad stuck to the pants, and I'll just have to keep on poking at it, and then eventually it should come off. But I need to always sit down and have such patience for a pad to come off. Right off the bat, I will go into the pros. Pros of moped: no rash, no irritations, nothing, none of that. I love the fact that it is not scented. I love the fact that they didn't add too much extras. It feels really good, initially against the skin, and you can feel the cotton. You can feel, okay, yeah, these people actually took their time to make this pad. If only that's directly translated to the absorbency and all the other things, and if they could find a way to stop the cotton from packing to one side, that would be awesome. Pro of always, light flow, I'm sure it works perfectly. Another pro is adhesive, wonderful, stays on properly until you're ready to take it off. And I love this wrap it comes in. It makes disposing of your menstrual pads super easy, and you don't have to put too much thought into it. Pro of dry love: I love the absorbency. I love how I do not have to constantly check to see whether I have stained myself. I love the fact that the cotton and whatever absorbent material they put underneath doesn't shift. I love the porous texture of it that allows like the blood to seep in easily without having to just roll back, especially if you're lying down on your back. That thing that happens when you lay back and then the blood slides like almost through your butt crack and through the top and stains your cloth and seeps into your bed. Am I the only person that this happens to? Please let me know in the comment section below. You might as well also let me know, the awkward things that happen to you when you are in your period. That is one of the awkward things that happen. So I normally don't lie on my back. I normally lay to my side to avoid blood from going out through my butt crack. So yeah, that is the pro I had for dry love. And for Vironi, the pro is super absorbent. It does its job. It doesn't leave any damp feel. When I put it on, I do not get the feeling like I'm sitting on a wet rag. And when I take off my cloth, I don't have any blood left on my skin, which is really good. So that is it from me regarding menstrual pads. I hope I have been able to shed some more light and convince you on why you should probably try other brands of menstrual pads aside from the one you are using right now, and kind of allow yourself to know what more is available for you in the case of that the brand you're using being discontinued or not being able to have access to the brand you are using at any point in the market. We have watched up until this point. Thank you very much. I am truly grateful. Happy New Year once more. Please leave a comment, let me know what you thought of this video. Share your experiences on using menstrual pads. What brands do you recommend? What brands are you currently using? What brands have you had not so great experiences with? Let's know, let's learn, just in case one of them is probably watching or reading through the comments, so that way they kind of know that they need to up their game and that we will not just keep on accepting whatever it is they're dropping. There is constantly room for improvement. Also, don't forget to subscribe if you already haven't. I will be trying to do more videos like this aside from my normal waka waka. The COVID issue has kept all of us grounded and we have to come back home. So that is what I'm doing, and I'm talking about issues that are very dear to me and dear to my heart. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I am constantly in people's faces about sexual and reproductive health and all things surrounding that topic. So I'm trying to incorporate a little bit of that here onto this channel, especially for us to have a safe space and make talking about things like this more normal and acceptable in today's society. So yeah, that's it. I guess I should end the video now. Alright, until next time, stay safe, wear a mask, observe your social distancing, stay at home if you do not have any reason to go out. Always wash your hands, use your sanitizer,